Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones. And I don't know, she's just like my heart, my daughter in law, co host, Monica Livingston. I guess part of my heart's over there with Ruthie Wyburn. I don't want to say old favorites, but Ruthie she's sprier than Monica and I ever thought about being. And I wanted Ruthie later on in the show to tell all you young whippersnappers out there exactly how to stay in shape like she does. I mean, she has quite the regimen, and obviously, well, I don't have to state the obvious. Okay, we promised some things last week, and we are here to deliver. You might think that we're just all blow and no go. Today, we deliver. We said that we were going to bring to you some items that you can make and give away this holiday season, Christmas season. I'm not one of those that is afraid to say Christmas, but I like to respect everybody and say holiday too. I just switch it up. I think we all should be able to say what we want to say. So, enough said of that. But we're going to show you about 3 things, and hopefully you can make one of these. It might be something laying around the house. You make it, you can give it to somebody. If you want to make one for yourself, that's cool. Make one and take one. That's what we call it here. Make one and take one to somebody else. Monica, I want you to start off and show them the couple items that you have.
Okay. First of all, I'm one of these people that likes to use recycled items. Being in the Girl Scouts, we teach the girls about using your resources wisely. And so we're all the time coming up with crafts that you can do with recycled items. Well, I saw something on Pinterest. So this started as a Pinterest idea, but it's kind of got my spin on it because it called for burner covers, and it said get them at the dollar store. Well, I looked, and most of my dollar stores had them for about $5 or $6, and I thought, I've got pie plates galore, so I went and got some pie plates. And so I didn't buy the pie plates. I had them from pies and stuff, pie crust that I've made over the years. Bought whatever, made. And bought the pie crust, made the pie. So anyways, that's that semi-homemade. And then paint. 50-something cents at Walmart for the paint. Didn't even use a whole bottle. Don't know how you can see it, but sorry. Oh. I'm being directed
Girl,
here.
Look over here with this camera, maybe.
And then
ho, and one more ho. 3 hoes.
And I just stapled them to a ribbon, painted them up, a little bit of sealer on them, put your little hook to hold them, and you can have something nice to hang on your wall. You can give it to somebody, and it's really cheap to make.
Okay, now you know that I'm craft challenged, so honestly, you've spaced these little dots out just perfectly. I mean,
not really.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't use a ruler or anything. I just kind of slapped it on there and just eyeballed it. And I said, you know what? I don't think anybody's going to sit there with a ruler. And if they do, they got more time in their hands than me. And measure my dots and stuff.
Show it to them again. I mean, this bears showing. It bears showing. Sorry.
Okay. You get ribbon at the top to hang. Then ho, and ho.
I mean, look at the detail in that. And Ruthie's already said that she needs one for her front door. So it's really there you go.
There you go. For
See?
Your front door.
Make one and take one.
And then this is a little item that I made last year. I found the recipe online. It wasn't on Pinterest. I don't think I was big on Pinterest last year, but I am this year. The recipe is for a hand scrub. And it couldn't be simpler to make. 2 ingredients. You probably have in your pantry some sugar, Domino's, generic store brand, whatever kind you want. And this is a newer item that's been out for about a year or so. It's Dawn Hand Renewal with Olay. And it comes in some neat little flavors. This is pomegranate splash. Very, very smelly good.
Isn't that expensive?
It's probably about $3 for a bottle, but you see how much I used, and I still have some left over after I made what I made today. And the sugar. So it averages out. It's not real. I mean, you could use this whole bottle, pound of sugar, or 5 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, whatever it is in this bag. Could make quite a bit of, hand scrubs for people. And of course, the other thing is my recycled twist. Little jelly jar, tapenade jar, bruschetta. I'm taking direction well, aren't I? And then all I did today was just glue the felt on the top of the jar, cover up the label, tied up some raffia. And this is actually a gift tag that you could buy.
Yes.
I found it at Dollar General, I believe. And I just put it on there. Last year I actually made my own, but I was a little bit short of time this year. So I just put to Mammy from Mo, and I put what it was on there. And it smells real good, and you set it by your sink. You just put a little bit on your hand, and it's got sugar in it and the hand soap. So you can use it just like soap when you're washing your hands. And the sugar exfoliates the skin and keeps your hands soft. So
Nice. Ruthie, I know.
this is for you.
Thank you so much. I know last year I think you put mine in a pesto jar and it still smelled a little bit like pesto.
Oh, there is a trick to that, and I think I've kind of learned. You soak them in some vinegar and some warm water, and it'll help eat off the label, and it'll help get rid of the smell. So I've learned a trick or two.
But let me smell it. I just know this is going to be...
Now, that wasn't my jar originally,
Lovely.
so if it stinks, I didn't.
no, that's what it's supposed to smell like.
Yep, sorry.
That's okay.
We live and we learn.
Yes, we do. Sometimes we just live.
Yes.
Okay, that's very nice, Monica. So here you have two quick, down and dirty gifts. Sugar, Dawn hand renewal. And, sometimes if you are allergic to, this is a tip, if you are allergic to most dish detergents, most people aren't allergic to the Dawn.
Right.
And so that's what we've tried to figure out. Right, Ruthie?
Right, I have a daughter who's allergic to almost everything that gets on her skin, but she can, and Dawn liquid is the only one that she can use. Anything else, even the rubber that's inside of your gloves that you wear to wash dishes, she can't use those
wow.
because she's allergic to that. She's allergic to some Band-Aids, the adhesive that's on the Band-Aid, so.
Goodness gracious. Well, see, here you have it, Dawn. Thank you so much. I will cherish this. And it's so
I'm
cute.
glad it won't smell like pesto this year.
It won't smell
I'm
like
gonna go
pesto.
home and put this on my door today.
Oh, right, good.
I mean, here Mo has made us 2 gifts, but I'm still getting something for Christmas, right? All right, maybe not. Okay.
Probably so.
The bad girl this year, Santa will not come to see me. All right, this I had one of our sons, well, the only one that knows how to use a chainsaw.
She's telling on my husband a little bit there.
I begged for 2 years to get something chopped and cut down, and so I could make something. Then, when bless his heart, when he did it, I didn't do anything with it last year. So these are from last year, but they're hard as a brick bat. But what you do, and I don't know the technical jargon for this, but if you have a limb or something that you need to cut down, you can cut it down or have your man cut it down. Then you take something that goes in a cordless screwdriver, and it's like a bit, maybe like a paddle looking bit, and it's a 2-inch round thing, and you just hold it down and it just like eats away down into it. So there's a recessed part there. And what you do, folks, once you get that done, you take your little tea light candle and slip it in there, and you can make, one this big, one that big, one a little bit bigger.
Kinda tiered,
Isn't
yeah.
it adorable? Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's...
And you could dress them up if you want to, or just have them very natural, and it would look good either way you did it.
Yes.
A Dremel tool would be good to
Yeah,
cut the
that's
hole
it,
out.
the Dremel. I was trying to
Okay.
think of the name. Thank you, Ruthie.
Yes.
My husband actually has one of those and knows how to use it.
What does he do with it? Curiosity.
He's drilled a hole in a wall and
The Dremel tool?
a wood cabinet to run
Oh.
cords through wires. He's
Oh, okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
computer geeky stuff, so he's got to have the wires just so.
I got you.
So,
Well, anyway, this is adorable, but just picture this little tea light candle down in there, the width of the tea light candle. So it's just adorable to me.
yes.
Yes, very
And
nice.
this year, in case you don't know, like I really know everything that's in style, I don't, but I heard that nature is, back, like it never went away, but all things natural are really in for decorating this year. So this would be something get 3 of these and different varying sizes and make some candle holders for your loved one. So anyway, we delivered on that part. Monica, there's another thing that we talked about, service projects. And after you go, there's something I want to read or mention that a viewer texted in.
Okay. Well, like we were saying last week, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. If you know an organization or somebody that's already doing something as a service project, you can kind of join right in. And that happens to be the case. The other night I got a phone call from my children's school that they were doing a coat drive. Well, why start up one of my own when I can just join right in with them? So I mentioned it to Rhonda, and that's what we're going to do. I made the announcement this morning that if anybody has any gently used coats for kids or for adults, to bring it up here to me, and I'll be glad to take it to the school and drop it off and let them know where it came from. And I know that they'll be more than appreciative. They made the call out to all the parents, and if they get a whole bunch from one, couple students from an organization that wants to join in, I know that they will be just more than glad. And that's something very simple that you can do. Find somebody that's already doing something of that nature,
Right.
or like a Manna Food Bank or something, and everybody collect it in your little group and then take it out and take it to them, and they'll be tickled with it, I'm sure.
Exactly, and I think you brought up a good point. And I said this before, but like James Robinson and his sainted wife, that they are into giving water, and drilling wells and things like that. So why us go out and try to drill a well when they're doing a great job of it? Give it to them.
Right.
And so, also now. Last week when we were talking about service projects, I didn't get this comment on the air because either I didn't see it or it came after we had closed. But a viewer, and thank you so much for texting, said because of the Northeast and the problems they have encountered with Hurricane Sandy and that big, Frankenstorm, the Red Cross is really somebody you can always count on. They're
Right.
very accountable with everything that they do. And if you want to give, and I know Dr. Jones and I, we've done this before, we text Red Cross to 90999, and I think it's $10 just automatic. But you can check that out. So if you want to give toward the Hurricane Sandy relief effort, text in the subject line Red Cross to the number 90999, and I think it's $10.
And that's a wonderful point too, because I don't know if you remember from a few weeks ago when we talked about how some people were sending things that couldn't be used, like clocks and vases and things like that. When these people are kind of displaced
Yeah.
from their home and in a motel, so they don't really need a vase or a clock right now. They may eventually, but giving to the Red Cross is something where you can't go wrong because they know the needs and they are in
On
the
the
business
ground,
of supplying the needs, and they are, like you said, they're on the ground dealing with it day to day. So giving to them and allowing them to help supply
Right,
those needs
right.
that's like a no way to go wrong there. So
Absolutely. Anybody else have any other service projects to mention to anybody? Something that somebody's doing?
kind of had a real mix up this year. Our poor little Girl Scouts, they had a bunch of donated cookies, and kind of back and forth. We had them planned to go to the children's hospital here, and good intentions, bad follow through, I guess. We kind of had a little mix up, breakdown in communication, and but all was not for naught. We finally reached the lady, but unfortunately the cookies had sat there and reached an expiration date. But there are places out there that will still take them because they can still be used. They can't be sold, although some places like a hospital can't because of
Right,
regulations. But we were able to give them to a local shelter, and they were more than appreciative for them. In fact, when I made the call the second day to just verify exactly the area to take it to and verify the address and everything, they were like, "Oh, are you the cookie lady?" And they were so excited, and can't wait to share it with the girls. I mean, I know they'll be disappointed that the children didn't get them, but they'll be happy that somebody got them and was real appreciative. And so, if something doesn't go right, don't give up. I guess that's what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Exactly right.
Because maybe it wasn't needed by the children as much as it's needed by the homeless, because more people are prone to help children than they are older people. And I don't mean aged and
that's true.
decrepit, I mean adults, because they feel like, well, adults are big enough to take care of themselves and the children aren't. And sometimes people that really need help are left out because of this mindset.
And you know, I've always seen the angel trees and stuff like that. And this year, I think it was at Walmart possibly, that I walked in and there was a tree and it actually had
For
names
seniors.
for seniors.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And it was like they wanted like a different things, like some of them need toiletries and some of them needed like a sweatsuit or a robe or slippers or fuzzy socks, or you know, they had different needs, and they were things that the people themselves had said that they wanted. And so, you know, I thought that's neat too, because
Right.
you know, a lot of people probably do kind of forget about
Yeah,
the
because
elderly.
a lot of the elderly are in institutions. I don't know whether to say assisted living or what, but
Nursing
it's
homes or whatever,
someplace
yeah.
like that, and their social security check goes to the home to for their keep, and they don't have the money for these personal items, so it's left up for family or whatever
Right.
to
And
to
there's
provide
all
that.
too often that family isn't
Yes.
there for 'em.
Yeah, so it's good that we're spreading our wings and including everybody and not just certain people.
Very good. And that goes right along with the New Covenant group because, you know, we try to be extremely inclusive. And I know that because we're human, we can make mistakes. We can overlook somebody
Right.
or a group of people. And it's never intended. I mean, it's never on purpose. If we've ever overlooked somebody or, you know, did something that you thought wasn't exactly jiving with our message, you know, it's certainly not intended, and you have to allow for a little bit of that. And so that goes both ways. I need to look at other people and say, you know what, they're human, and I need to say, maybe they're just having a bad day.
Right.
You know, maybe their nerves
And
are
I don't
up.
think anyone here has ever claimed to be perfect or ever claimed to have it 100% without, you know, having some growing to do themselves. And so, you know, we are bound to make mistakes, and it's okay to call us on them. Be kind when you do it.
But you know what? Even if you're not, I think sometimes, you know, just like that pearl comes from the oyster, when you rub something harder, sometimes it works better and you get the better shine. And so if I go through life always, everything's easy for me and things are going my way all the time, when that least little grain of sand gets underneath my contact or something, and I just freak out, you know, what have I learned? But if I have adversity and if I go through, you know, many things, I think I'm not asking for it, but I'm saying I can see where you can come out probably more learned and with a lot more wisdom.
Right.
Right. You gain strength by pushing against the bad things or having to pick up things. That's how you gain strength. So
Right. I really believe that. Now, speaking of adversity or things, why in the world, now this time of year is where most people, you know, try to be their happiest and come together more with family and friends. But why is it the most stressful time of the year, according to some?
I think we put added stress on ourselves to have everything go just perfect or to try to do everything ourselves. And I was actually looking last night, and I came across some things that it said, you know, to help make your holiday less stressful. And it was things like, you know, making lists for what you have to accomplish, and then not trying to be superwoman and do it all yourself, but to ask for somebody, you know, hey, I've got this shopping to do, this shopping to do, this shopping to do. How about you do this? Whether it be cleaning the house or wrapping a present. Get your husband, get your kids, get your family involved. Get your rest, because if you're not rested, you're going to be more irritated. You're going to have more, you know, problems, and you're not going to be able to function as well. So don't be sleep deprived. Get plenty of rest. Make those lists and then set a deadline to have things done by, so that you have a few days there at the end to relax and enjoy the time with your family and the holidays.
Right.
You know.
So do you you don't, yeah, Ruthie, do you think a deadline adds more stress, or is it a stress reliever?
It depends on the personality. Sometimes a deadline will really stress somebody out, but I find if you say, okay, the first week of December I'm going to do this. The second week of December, so you don't have a deadline. Second week of December I'll do this. And like my one sister, she always decorates her Christmas tree on the 20th, which is her birthday. But that's her birthday gift to herself. She decorates her tree on the 20th. And so you have to find out what's best for you,
Right.
what doesn't stress you out. And that's the way you need to go through them. But if you try to do what everybody else wants, and you say, okay, I know this person likes this, this, and this, and so I'm going to try. You're not helping anybody, because you're making that person feel guilty because you're stressed. So everybody's stressed out.
That's true.
You know, I have to kind of prioritize it. I have to say, like, okay, this week I have this at the end of the week that I have to do. Like, you know, this coming week is a Christmas parade, and so I'm working on the float. And so it's like the main thing this week is getting the float and stuff ready, and then the following week is the cookie swap. So it's getting the cookie stuff for the cookie swap ready. And then the following week, it's kind of almost a little bit freer for a week, but at the end of that week, the kids are out of school, you know. And of course, during the week, there's volunteering at the school, and there's, you know, Girl Scouts and other things that are going on. But I kind of have to prioritize what I have to do that week to get through that week to the next week. And then I keep telling myself, when I get through this week, it's going to slow down. Oh, most of the time it doesn't, but, you know.
Well,
It does kind of help with the stress.
With your float, is there anything that you could do in the month of November toward that float instead of waiting till the week before?
Well, we could have, and we did actually start in the month of November. We had our girls do some of it, you know, and of course we used paper bag stuff, and we made
Right.
gingerbread girls, because we're Girl Scouts, and they decorated them, and so that's the bulk of the float. But some of it just couldn't be done till like
Yeah.
now. Part of
Yeah.
it was we just found out about it too, when it was, and it's like this week. So
I know, like, we have a young lady. Well, yeah, I'm gonna call her a young lady. She wants to be ahead of the game, you know. And I think in life that you can be obsessed with being ahead of the game and
Right.
let it be a game to you, or you can be actually organized. And I think she's partly both.
right,
But like, she'll send you your birthday card like 3 weeks before your birthday,
or a month,
or a month. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get a birthday card,
right,
which is better than what I do for you.
which is
I
no,
don't get
no,
it.
you gave me
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you give me stuff.
No.
I'm just teasing. I forget too.
I didn't forget.
No, you didn't forget.
But anywho, my point, where I was going with this whole thing is, you can be on one end of the spectrum or the other.
Right.
Right.
And I think that is in life in general. And I'm the kind of person, if I know something is getting ready to go down, I'm like, I can only think of this right now. If I've got a paper to write, you know, I can't think about 3 days later, I have a batch of cookies. I have to write the paper first, and then I can think about the cookies. And then, you know, and maybe that's a flaw in my mind, that there's something wrong. Or it could be, y'all give me some slack. What could it be? Something good.
It's your personality.
Prioritizing.
It's the ways that God
Yeah,
made
that's what
you.
God made me.
You're
Yeah.
prioritizing.
Yeah, I'm prioritizing.
This has to be done first
Yeah,
for this reason.
chronologically prioritizing things. That's it. I didn't want to be.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it, right?
That's my story. And
That's
I'm
my
sticking
story.
to
I'm
it.
sticking to it.
Here comes TROUBLE. But Christmas cards. All right, send them or not send them, Monica.
Oh, you know, I did so good the first couple of years I was married. I'd sit there and, you know, of course, I didn't have kids then. I'd sit there and I'd probably start in October and I'd sign them, because I don't just write like the Livingstons. I'll write something in there, and then I would address them with our return address, and then I would, you know, address them to the people and do it in stages and have it done. And the last couple of years when I have sent them out, it's been like the last day you can mail anything for it to possibly get there before Christmas, and then some of them were still late. And sometimes I haven't even sent them at all. I love to send them. What I did find last year, though, is I think I did postcards for most people last year. We had them made through a company called Vistaprint. And my husband took the picture himself, and we had them made. And then it was a little bit cheaper because the postcard stamps are cheaper than the actual stamp, and so.
Ruthie?
I have friends in the state of Washington and Idaho that I keep in contact with, and they type up Christmas letters of what's happened to them and their family through the year, and they just sign their name to the card and put this letter in there, and that's all they have to do, and then and get it ready. But I really enjoy, especially with this one young couple. They have their children are up, like one's going to college now and stuff, but they've kept me informed of their family life all these years, and it really makes a difference. I just not very good at writing letters like that, because when it comes time to do it, to get in the card, I think, well, I can't remember what happened when. So
A journal.
yeah,
You
so
wanna
that's
do it.
what I need to do, keep a journal
That's
so
right.
that I can do a family letter. Yeah.
Exactly right. So maybe that'll be something in January you can start doing.
Yeah.
So you're for sending Christmas cards?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so it's not a dying art. It's
Oh, no.
something that needs to.
And if you have people living close to you, you just deliver the card and you mail it to people that you can't get it to by hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I've done it. If they're here and I can physically get it to them, save yourself a little bit of, postage, and hand deliver it, and you can see them while you're giving it to them.
You can do that with your birthday cards too.
Yeah,
Yes, and Ruthie makes the best birthday cards,
she does.
and she just doesn't sign Ruthie. I mean, she puts in there like. Sometimes when I read mine, I'm like, I think
almost
she
in
got me
tears.
mixed. Yeah, she must have me mixed up with Mother Teresa, but but she's very faithful about that, and always makes everybody feel good. And I want to brag on her too. Thanksgiving, she actually sent everyone in our group here a card that thanked them for something specific, or thank them for the hard work that
Right.
they do, or thank them for their smile or something.
and it was unexpected.
Yes.
We didn't see it coming. She just brought these sweet little cards to us that, just told us that she appreciated us and she was thankful for us. And it
Isn't
meant
that
so
what
much.
Thanksgiving's for?
It is. I know. It's exactly what it's for, but
She will tear down the house.
I don't think anybody does that anymore, or ever probably.
Right.
And I have a stack of Thanksgiving cards that I bought at a garage sale probably 5 years ago, and I always see them like in July or March.
And you can't find them at Thanksgiving. That's what I do.
Come
I'll buy
November.
stuff and then it's like I can't find it. And
Yeah.
I'll find it later.
But they haunt me because I see them every month, but November. And I'm sure in January I'll come across them again. But this year I'm going to fake them out, because I'm going to take them and put them on a big chip clip and put it on my refrigerator. And I'll see them every single day of the year.
Yeah, I'm kind of a disorganized mess. I guess that's the best way to describe it, because I'm organized in some areas. In other areas, it's like this disorganized mess, and it all seems to jive together. Usually, I can put my hands on something pretty quickly, but if I'm looking for it for a specific reason, sometimes I just can't. Like, I need it like that day, and I've looked for it before. I can't find it, but never fails right after the fact. I'll find it. And I'm like you, when I find it, then it's like you got to stick it in a spot where you're going to see it all the time.
That's
So
right.
you don't lose it again. I keep telling myself that I'm going to make this year about organization. So that's something maybe for the new year.
Yeah,
You'll
well-
journal. I'll organize.
Yeah.
Like my sister and my oldest daughter, they are one of these people. Everything has a place and everything is in its place. Dishes are stacked in the cupboard in a certain order. The silverware is in the silverware drawer in a certain order. And that's good because they can find almost anything they want. Well, I have a place for everything, but I don't always have everything in its place. And sometimes I'm like Monica. I look for something and I think, I know that's where it was, and I can't find it. Maybe 3 months later I'll find it, but that's okay.
Mine's usually like the
if
day
I really
after.
need it, if I really need it, I'll find it.
That's
when
right.
I,
Exactly
and,
right.
And if you don't stress about it. It'll be there when
Be
you
there.
really need it.
There you go. That's the whole thing.
day
We're
after
not
for
going to
me.
stress this year. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Okay, another thing. Christmas music on the night of Thanksgiving, or no? Are you into that before Christmas, before December?
I'm fine with it after Thanksgiving, but there was a station, and I don't remember what station it was, but it was a local station here last year that I think it was like the day after Halloween. I started hearing Christmas music, and I was like, okay, people, it's October, and I thought, well, maybe someone put it on by accident. No, they started the end of October, and they were playing Christmas music all November, all December. That to me that was a little bit much, but that's just me. I love Christmas music, but it was a little bit
That's
much.
too much.
I mean, it's like they're skipping over, like we talked
Yes.
about last week, skipping over Thanksgiving and going right to
Yes.
Christmas, and
It's
it
not
just
right.
felt weird.
I don't think so. I think we commercialize too much, and we, by the time school starts, we're already putting out stuff for Halloween, and then before Halloween gets here, you're putting out stuff for Christmas already.
Right,
And,
walk in Walmart, and it's
Yeah.
like Christmas.
and I think you should leave the month of October for Halloween, the month of November for Thanksgiving and fall stuff, and then Christmas starts the 1st of December. That gives you almost 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Well, it is 3 weeks. Because 3 weeks is 21 days, and
Yeah.
Christmas is not till 24th
And you don't
25th.
have
and
to
you
have a
don't need it.
huge
Right.
Christmas display to know Christmas is coming,
Right.
and to start getting ready for it. I mean, you'll buy your wrapping paper and things when you start seeing it come out. Some people buy it after the season's over and put it up.
Sure.
Forget they have it and buy more. Anyways, I'm not talking about me though.
Yeah. Well, I bought 2 Christmas gifts in July, so I just happened to see these cute little things, and I knew 2 little
That's what you
girls,
do, too, is
2
if
little
you
girls that
can.
would like these 2 cute little things, so I bought them. And it's just
Yeah.
Are them cute girls, me and Rhonda?
no.
Oh, we're not
You're
cute
cute
ones.
women, but not
Oh,
cute
okay.
girls.
Sorry. Tried.
So we're gonna give Christmas music before December 2 thumbs down.
Right.
Is this great or not great?
Oh,
Our version?
yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna promise you that. We're gonna do great or not great. It's gonna be something we do next week. Great or not great. And also we're gonna bring to you another homemade gift or a few that you can make and give to somebody. So everybody wants to give something. I mean, and really, unless you are absolutely positively destitute, and some people are, if you want to do it, you can find a way possibly. If you just go out and get nature's bounty in the woods, I mean, it's beautiful in the woods. I see trees with all these red berries on them. They're probably poisonous, but I think it'd be a most beautiful centerpiece. Pine cones, 99-cent spray paint, spray them gold and put them on your table. Just awesome.
The cones or whatever you want to call them from magnolia trees. After the berries are out of them, you can make a lot of things out of those.
Will you be able to show us something next week?
I'll show you a flower, I think it's supposed to be a flower anyway. It has a little wire stem,
Okay.
and I also have one that's made out of pine cones.
Okay. Well, another big thing too this year is to get these fire starters, and it's low pine cones, and somehow you get your cupcake pan and you get some paraffin, and you put your you melt it, you put your pine cone into it, and let it get to the bottom, and so it's round about that much up on the pine cone, and you throw them in your fireplace, and it, and I'm like, oh, I mean, my grandma was 80 years old still making a fire. Like, who can't make a fire? But these are fire starters, so I think some people, maybe these really young people that want to have a nice big fireplace and be, sophisticated, but they don't know how to make a fire yet. Maybe they use them. Anywho, my mother had me out collecting about 25 pine cones. Actually, I want to confess, I didn't lie to her. She asked me to go and collect them, but I wasn't feeling well, and I already had them from like a year before that I collected. I was going to do something with them, and I never did. And I just said, here you go. Here's 25 pine cones for you. And
Hey,
God
you
only
still,
knows.
You still provided the pine cones that she asked. Whether
That's
you went
right.
and collected them then or they're from previously, I think they'll still work. Probably be drier and
Yeah, better.
Start
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Last year, my niece and my sister and I went to DeSoto State Park, and we picked up different kind of leaves, colored leaves and berries and different things like this. And then we bought these Christmas ornaments that you can take apart and decorate them. And we decorated them with this moss and stuff that we had picked up, and bought some little miniature animals and put them in there and gave those out as Christmas decoration. Decoration to all my family. I sent them. Idaho and stuff. So
See, I mean,
And you
can
know,
do it.
like I said last week, when I do crafty things around the holidays, I feel more in the spirit. For some reason, it's just I don't know, just kind of maybe stress relief or whatever, and just kind of helps my mood. And
Yeah. So you're saying that crafts is what really brings you into the
well, I mean,
spirit
it
of the
just kind
season, or
just
the,
kinda
you think
helps me.
crafts is the reason for the season?
that's not what I said.
Is that what you're saying?
How many of you think she's putting words in my mouth?
yep.
She said that crafts get her into the spirit.
I said they help.
They help.
They help keep me in the spirit and not stress. And isn't that what I said?
Right. Yes.
All right.
Okay then. All right. Let's see here. We have a viewer comment. We have a couple. Somebody has the audacity to tell me don't plagiarize. And I'm going to have the comment gobbler gobble that one up and not even pay attention to that comment. Then we have another one that says, what's wrong with smelling like pesto? Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with smelling like pesto. I mean, pesto
you don't want your
smells
hands
good.
to smell like pesto.
But when pesto's been in a jar for a year and it's old,
The pesto wasn't in the jar for the year.
and you
The
add
jar
other
was just
ingredients
sealed.
to it, and you want to smell this night, and you take it out and get ready to whop it on your hands, and it smells like something nasty. There's a lot wrong with smelling like pesto. I'm here to tell you. Mo, God, I love her.
That's a slide out
she
of my
makes me
chair
something.
and off.
She makes me something every year, and then I have the nerve to gripe about it. Wow. Okay, but in our waning moments,
We'll talk about rejection. You want to talk about rejection?
I do. That was what I was going to talk about. Okay, this is serious. Okay, rejection. We've all been rejected some way or the other. You know, maybe a family member rejected you.
Rejected your gift.
Rejected a gift, a job app. You know, a person interviewing you for a job, you got rejected. I remember the first job I ever tried to apply for, I was really young, I don't know, 15, 16. And for whatever reason, I thought I wanted to work at the steakhouse. Like, that would be like a bull in a china shop, working as a waitress. But I thought, oh, I'm 16, it'll be fun. And anyway, they rejected me. They did not call me back. And I harbored that in my heart for years and years, and I wouldn't even go there after that. So rejection is an evil thing. Mm-hmm. And so what if you are rejected by someone, this is hypothetical, nobody up here, it's not related to them, but what if you are rejected and have a broken heart and someone comes to you for counseling? How do you help that person? I mean, you have to acknowledge their broken heart. It's real to them.
Right.
You know, it really is. The rejection is certainly real. And rejection feels horrible. I felt horrible when I was rejected for that job. I think that's probably my one only rejection in life, but I've always held it against the people. Western sizzling. Anyway, Monica.
That's a tough one, especially when you're dealing. When you're dealing with someone who's rejected from a job, it's hard. It's disappointing when they're rejected from maybe a class that they were taking or that they wanted to take, and like a nursing degree or something like that. Probably a little bit tougher to swallow because it's a profession you want to choose, but they only allow certain applicants, and you have to make certain grades, and it's a tough program. So different things, but when you're dealing with someone who has a broken heart over like a relationship or something, to tread real carefully, I think. Sometimes what you say can be mistaken.
Do you think being blunt, this is Ruth, do you think just being blunt right off the chute is not the best way to go?
No. You have to acknowledge that they're really hurting, and you have to let them know that you sympathize with them, but you also need to let them know that it's really not the end of the world. It seems like it, but it's really not. That everything happens for your good, And because you were rejected by this person, this job, or whatever, it's not the thing that you need to be doing right at this time. Wait, and something will come up, and it will be better than what you've just lost.
Yeah, and I think that sounds really good in up here on the stage.
Right, but it's
And
harder when you're actually dealing with,
it is.
with somebody.
And even though it's the truth for the most part, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still harder to hear. Well, you know what? It's for the best, and something else will come along, and you'll get a better job, or you'll get, a better boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, or
You don't necessarily say all of that at first because they're going to come to you more than once, especially if they're a friend. And you've got time to help them to get over it because they're not going to come to you brokenhearted and you tell them how sorry you are for their loss and this type of stuff, and then they're just going to go their merry way and not come back.
Right.
So you've got time, but this is something they need to realize, and at first it's really hard, but it's true.
right. And one thing I think we should stress too, and even though it sounds very personal, it's really not personal. As far as a job goes, it's business. I mean, business is never personal. It's the bottom line.
Right.
The profit and loss statement. I mean, I don't think you would be a good fit. It's not so personal. In a relationship, it's really even not that either, because if you're thinking about it, two people have got to come together on so many terms.
Right.
If you're boyfriend, girlfriend. And so it's not that, you're inferior. It's, what's going on in this other life. Maybe I need something else, or, but it's hard not to take things so personally.
Right.
It really is. And, this time of year, I think about all the families that are broken apart because, not just because of divorce or anything like that, and that's bad enough, but because of stupid things,
Right.
just somebody got their feelings hurt over this, and so we're not speaking, or I told Uncle Joe that I didn't like the way he patted me hard on the shoulder, and then so now I'm not invited to the family. So many trivial, stupid things in life can separate us from the real joy that
Right.
God has intended for everybody. And to be offended so easily, I think is something that we all need to work on.
Right.
And I know I do, because I can take things personal when it's really not personal, but I want to take it all on me and let it be all about me, and that's really a sign of an ego problem. I'm taking it personally. It has to be all about me, and I think I did this, I did that, and if it wasn't for me and me, but it could be the other person. It could be the moon's not aligned right today or something.
Yeah, a lot of times when we are brokenhearted, if we'd stop thinking about how bad we feel and how stuff, if you stop and think, well, what was going on in their life at this time? What made them act like this?
Right.
But we don't do that
That's
because
true.
we're more concerned about how we feel, and
That's
we
true.
forget because they hurt our feelings. We forget they may have been hurt by someone else, and they're just taking that on me because I'm handy.
That's true. Very good. Very good point. Mo? Well, we didn't talk about this. We have just about 2 minutes, but you have family members, and we all do, that they don't agree with the things that we hold dear as far as how we believe God to be. And I don't even want to say it's about scripture. It's not. It's how I believe God is. It's
Right.
bigger than, the 66 book. It's so much bigger than that. This
Right.
is how I believe the character of God is. And you've had people dismiss you from Facebook. I mean, you've had people do all kind of things, but you still maintain some semblance of a good attitude. Now, when they start talking about your man, I understand, the
Well,
calls come out.
Well, I even tried to make it when the
Just say it like it is. They
The
actually,
threat came out against my husband. I got a little upset, but I even tried to still be rational about it and be like, really, come on, let's get past this. Let's, and then it just, everyone's going to be deleting you because of what you believe. You ought to wake up. So I was like, okay, you know. My husband was bigger than that, though. I mean, he could have pointed out a bunch of problems with statements people made and this, that, and the other, but he rose above it and, brought some peace to a situation. And I think that's what we need to be because, in my opinion, he showed the character of Jesus,
right.
love in the face of someone who's against.
Yeah, I mean, somebody wanted to actually whoop his tail.
Yep.
Because of something he wrote, to try to clarify some things and try to back up Monica. And, oh my goodness gracious. And to me, when somebody threatens to do that to you and you can respond with the love of God, I mean, that's maturity.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
They threatened him because they felt threatened in their belief, probably.
I always say that we respond or act like the God that we know of.
Yeah, I texted that in last week when we were talking about it on the show, I think the 8:00 show. Or maybe it was even prior to that, because it was brought several things about rejection and people, Greg Bray brought it up on his show, him and Bob. They were talking about people that, are treated a certain way due to what they believe or don't believe, how some atheists and stuff are taught. And, I just texted in and told him that, I've got this going on in my own family right now. And I had just seen about an hour or so prior the threat that was made. And so it had really kind of hit home, and I didn't want to necessarily talk to my husband about it while he was up here and running and producing the show and
Right.
and the shows. And so I was kind of dealing with it on the back end myself, but at the same time, it really was real in my head and in my heart that, what your knowledge of how God is and how he deals with his children, us, all of us, determines how you act a lot of times.
Right.
And for the most part, I think I held it together. I think the worst I said is that somebody needed to grow up. They were acting kind of juvenile.
Well, I mean, really, that's true.
But, I didn't resort to a bunch of name calling and stuff. Could have. I didn't lash out at them,
Yeah.
And there probably was a time that I would have, to be honest with you. But I know more about who God is today and the character he has. And I want that character for myself. And I want to share that character with others. Because if I don't try to have that character myself, I can't have that character towards others and
That's true.
help them, So.
I think that a lot, but then when I act out or something, that I'm thinking, I really don't believe God is this way. Why am I acting this way? So I know we slip
We
in.
still have growing to do.
I want to read this comment. We have a couple comments and then we have to close. And I wanted to save a lot of this conversation for my girl Tina. She and I had a talk this morning, and she really ministered to me in so many ways. She's so wise, I'll tell you what. But she writes in, we have the choice either to be the victim or a learner. And that's kind of going along with what Ruthie said. We can learn from our situation,
Right.
or we can say, poor me, I'm a victim of the situation. And, we don't necessarily want to be victims at all. We want to come ahead as having learned from the experience.
Right.
And then another comment, Joey says that he was just lowering that dude's guard to kind of make him think that he's real nice and he's going to ambush him. Not really.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. Well, we're out of time, and time flies when you're having fun. And I had a good time with you ladies today, but I want to announce something that at 8 p.m. tonight, we're going to have Jim Palmer and his wife, Heather, as our Skype guests. And we're going to talk about Jim and Heather's work that they do. Heather has a blog site that she maintains primarily to help and counsel victims of domestic abuse. And Jim has a new project. I think it's called the Religion Free Bible
Yeah.
Project. And so we're going to learn some more about that. Jim has been a previous guest, and we really enjoyed him. Tonight we're going to be blessed to have, or honored to have, he and his wife. And so that's at 8 p.m. with Dr. Jones and myself. Stay tuned the rest of the day. We're going to have great shows coming up. And we will see you next week with more service projects and more homemade gifts that you can give to people. This year, encourage somebody and be a giver. All right. Peace out.